my joyful creators. Welcome to Wednesday on the Hook. Today we are going to be creating the harvest shawl. Now, the block stitch that we are going to be using today, I first came across and learned about the block stitch off of Miss Glenda Creative Grandma's channel, and so I will be including in the description box a link to that tutorial so you can take a look at that if you want, because in her tutorial, and you'll understand this more as we get started, her block sections are done with 4 blocks, and for the scarf I'm going to change it up a little bit, and we're going to actually be doing 5 double crochets in our blocks, just because I want to give the shawl a little bit of a wider block. So if you're ready to get started, let me first introduce you to the yarn that we will be using. And it is all Red Heart Super Saver yarn. And so the very first color that we are going to be introducing, and we have a total of 6 colors, is medium thyme. All of these skeins are medium 4 weights. They also are 100% acrylic, and they are 7 ounces, 198 grams, and 364 yards. You will only need 1 skein of each color, and you will probably have a little bit of yarn left over from each skein. So again, we have the thyme is the first color. The second color is saffron. The third color is mulberry. The fourth color is charcoal. The fifth color is pumpkin. And the sixth color is cafe latte. So let me see if I can get all of these on here. So these are the colors that we will be using in our harvest scarf. And now let me move the colors out the way. And the size hook that we're going to be using is a J hook, also known as a 6.0 millimeter hook. So go ahead and grab your medium thyme yarn, and we'll go ahead and get started. Now, the block stitch is worked in a multiple of 4. So we are going to 4 plus 2, that is. So we're going to create a chain of 34. When you have your chain of 34, we're going to go ahead and start with row 1, and we're going to work into the second chain from the hook. So here is your first chain, and here is your second chain. We're going to go under that very top loop, so we're only going through underneath one strand, and that's just for this foundation row. And we're going to make a single crochet. We're then going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we're going to skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to do a single crochet right into this next stitch. We're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're going to skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and right into this next one. We're going to make a single crochet. Again, I'm just going under just that one loop. We're going to chain 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're going to skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and go right in here and make our single crochet. We're going to chain 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and then make our single crochet. Chain 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And skip 3, 1, 2, 3. Come into that top loop there and make a single crochet and chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and under that top loop only, make a single crochet, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and right underneath that top loop, make a single crochet, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and right here in this last one, under that top loop only, we're going to make a single crochet. And this is what our chain looks like. And if you look, you can see those boxes. And they'll be defined a little bit more the further along we go. All right, so for row 2 and 3 will be our repeating pattern. We're going to chain 2, 1, 2, turn our work, and this chain 2 is actually going to count as a double crochet at the beginning of this row, and it is in this stitch right here. So we're going to come on over to this big space here where we have our chain 5, and we're actually going to work 5 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's going to look just like that. We're not going to do any chaining. We're going to skip this single crochet right here though, and we're going to go right ahead and come into the next space and work another 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Again, we're going to skip this single crochet and come right into the next block or space and work 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And of course, as with any project, when you're first starting out, it's kind of hard to do because you don't have anything to hold on to, but just do the best you can. And again, we're going to skip all of these single crochets and we're going to do 5 double crochets in each of these chain 5 spaces. When you get to the last space, go ahead and work your 5 double crochets in that last space and then stop and I will meet back up with you. Alright, so we have put 5 double crochets into this last chain 5 space, and so we're going to go right here in the top of this chain from the previous row and we're going to put a double crochet, and that will end row 2. Now let's take a minute and talk for just a second. So if you watch Miss Glenda with Create a Grandma's tutorial, she did a chain 3 space. And again, I told you I did chain 5 for this scarf because I wanted the blocks to be a little bit bigger. In her chain 3 spaces, she was only doing 4 double crochets. And so again, I did 5 double crochets to create a wider block. Now in her tutorial, she had the 4 double crochets in the center, but on the ends, she only did 3 double crochets in the end spaces, and then the 4th double crochet counted as the 2 double crochets, or the 1 double crochet that was on each end. This was 1 and this was 2. Again, I wanted to have the blocks a little bit bigger, but I chose to do 5 in even the end spaces so that it stays symmetrical across the scarf, and then the 1 double crochet that's on each end as we go up the scarf will kind of create this edging for the scarf. And so those were just some changes that I made that are a little bit different from the tutorial. And that's the thing about stitches. You can use the stitches as a basic guide, but you can always change them up even a little bit and give your own little spin on them. And so that's kind of what I'm doing with this block stitch. So let's go ahead and go into the next row. For row 3, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. Now on row 2, when we chain 2, that chain 2 counted as a double crochet. So it counted as our first stitch. This chain 1 is not going to count as a stitch. So we're going to go right into that same stitch as the chain 1 and create a single crochet. And like row 1, we're then going to go straight into chaining 5. So 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to skip over all of these 5 double crochets that are creating our block, and in between your 2 sets of blocks here, you should have a little hole, and if you look, it is above the single crochet that you made on row 1. And so as you go across, it kind of creates this natural little hole right there. We're going to do our single crochet right into that space, not into the stitch here, but into the space. So go right into that space and do a single crochet. We're going to go right into chaining 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Again, we're going to skip over our 5 double crochets that make our block, and we're going to go right into this little space above the single crochet from row 1 and make a single crochet. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and go to that next space and do a single crochet. And then continue doing that all the way across the row and stop after you make your last single crochet right here in that last space. My bad. In this last space right here. I was going to say that doesn't sound right. So go ahead and stop right here, and I will meet up with you to show you how to finish the row. So we have made a single crochet in that last natural little space there. We're going to complete the row by chaining 5 more. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we're going to come right over here to the top of this double crochet, and we're going to work a single crochet right into the very top there. There we go. Nope, I didn't get in there. My hook does not want to go in there. There we go. And that completes row 3 and our repeat pattern. So now we're going to keep doing row 2 and 3, and we're going to complete it 2 more times in this medium thyme color. So go ahead and repeat rows 2 and 3 2 more times, and I will meet back up with you. So here we have completed 3 rows, and we've ended with the row of single crochets that created the chain spaces. So we're going to go ahead and fasten off this color, and you do that however you feel comfortable, and give yourself a little bit of a tail. And then go ahead and add your next color, which is the saffron. And I'm going to come right here in the top of this last single crochet that I made and add my color. and chain 1. Turn your work, and then you're just going to repeat. Oh, excuse me, we're chaining 2. I'm sorry. And I'm going to work my tails in as I go. So I'm going to work right over the tops of these. And as we have, we're just going to come in and start doing our double crochets right into that chain space. And again, I'm just working right over my tails as I do this. All right. And we're going to go right into the next chain 5 space and start working our 5 double crochets. All right, now that I've worked those 5 double crochets in those first 2 spaces, I'm going to grab my tails, and if you'll look, see how it's kind of sticking out a little bit? All right, I'm just going to grab my tails and just give them a snug little tug, not too tight. And I can see them really well right here in that little chain space, so I'm going to give it a little bit more of a tug. And I'll show you how you can kind of cover those up when you add your colors or when you add your stitches in the next row. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and trim off what's left of my tails. And then I'm just going to keep on going down this row, working my double crochets. So go ahead and finish this row out. You've worked the pattern enough now that you should be able to finish this row on your own. And I will meet up with you to begin the next row to show you how to hide those tails that are peeking through right here. All right, so we are now down at the end of this row. So we're going to go ahead and chain 1, turn our work, and we're going to come right here into this first stitch and work our single crochet. Everything is the same, it's just how we work up our stitches, our tails that we have secured in. So chain 5. And of course, if you're not securing your tails as you go and you're just putting them to the side and weaving them in later, then you don't need to worry about this part here. All right, so your tails are down on this end. So go ahead and continue working the pattern as you have been until you get down to the end where your tails are. And I will show you how to tuck those in. That helps to secure those tails even more and then keep them from showing in that gap. All right, so I'll meet you when you get down here to your tails. All right, so we've done a chain 5 and we're down to the space where we've got our tails right here. We're going to go up underneath those tails to complete that single crochet. And what that has done is it's actually pulled them up into that stitch right there. So it's securing them a little bit more, but also it's creating that natural gap. And then when you come to put your next set of stitches in, it's all going to look natural. And then just finish off your row. And so for each color, we're going to complete 3 rows. And once you've completed 3 rows of each color, and you'll always end with the chain 5 space and single crochet row. And once you have your 3 rows, and when I say rows, I'm talking about the 2 rows together. So it'll be a total of 6 rows you're doing in each color. And for example, we've already done row 1 in this color, and here's row 2 in the color. So when you've done a complete total 6 rows, 3 sets of the block stitch, then change colors. Let's go over our color order again. As we've already done, the first color is medium thyme. Second color is saffron. Then the third color we will bring in will be mulberry. The fourth color that we will bring in will be the charcoal. And the fifth color that we'll bring in will be the pumpkin. And the sixth color that we'll bring in will be the cafe latte, or cafe latte, sorry. So you will just work your scarf, repeating these colors until your scarf is the length that you desire. I will come back in periodically and show you the progress of my scarf from time to time, because all it is at this point is just repeating those 2 rows. All right, so happy crocheting. Have fun changing out your colors and watching it grow into a beautiful harvest scarf. And I'll check back in with you soon. Hello everyone. I just wanted to come back and just kind of show you where we're at the moment. This is what your piece should look like after you have added each of the 6 colors to the scarf. And so here is our bottom with the green and then the yellow. And I'm just going to bring that a little bit closer, yeah, so you can get a better look at what that yellow is. And then this is again the burgundy. Looking, I think it's mulberry. The lighting kind of has it looking a little purple. I don't know if a little bit of more advanced lighting. There we go. There's the true color. And there's the true color of the yellow and the green. And here is the gray and the orange. Yeah, there we go. Oh, there we go. And then the brown. So that is what our scarf is starting to look like. And it is a little nice and wide, but the good thing about this being a little bit wider is, one, it gives you the room to be able to wrap the scarf around and do different styles of techniques of wearing it. Also, it gives a little bit of extra warmth. Some may even want to go as far as, you know, folding it in half and doubling it and sewing the ends together, even maybe in the end creating it as an infinity scarf. So it gives it a little bit more of a thickness. I, for mine, will personally leave it nice and wide like this because of the way I like to wear mine, and I will demonstrate that at the end of this video. So continue working on your scarf, alternating your colors, and I'll come back and see you when it's finished. We are back and our scarf is completed. We have done it to the length that we desire. Your length may be different than mine. I did the repeat colors 4 times, and so here is a look at what the scarf looks like now that the ends are all weaved in and the scarf is completed. And again, I have the hunter green, I have this kind of yellow gold yellow, and this kind of mulberry color, the gray, the orange, and then the brown. And again, I just repeated those colors, and so there's 2 repeats of the color, and then I turn it over and repeated those 2 colorways again. And that is my scarf. Now, you can certainly do a single crochet around the sides of this if you'd like. I chose to leave it kind of looking natural. I like it just like this. So this has been our fall brick scarf. I hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial. I even did a hat to go with it. However, this hat I actually made for my husband. And next week we are going to do another tutorial on the hat pattern, but for the tutorial I will make one for myself to match the scarf, and then he and I will be matching with our hats and ready to go out as a couple in our fall ensemble. Well, thank you for joining me today. My name is Cynthia. I have been your host today with Cynthia's Joyful Creations, and I hope you have fun making your fall brick scarf. Take care, and I'll see you again soon.